Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everybody, welcome to our mini episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who is Vengence the Knight with me tonight?
This is Blair Farrell from the owner of comicbookvideogames.com and the Blair Twitch channel.
And we get to talk about Batman games today. Aren't you excited?
Well, I never turned down an opportunity to talk about anything DC Animated Universe related, so
we are going to be talking about 2 Batman episodes, bitch, in this episode. First, we're going to talk about Batman Vengeance, the GBA version only. And then you will hear us talk about another Batman game after the break. So first, Batman Vengeance GBA, developed by Ubisoft Montreal, published by Ubisoft, and came out in 2001. I didn't know this game existed. I have never played this game until a week before this. That's my history. What about you, Blair?
I knew that it did exist because, like everything at that time, it had to blanket everything. So it was always PlayStation, Xbox, GameCube, probably PC, and then there would be a Game Boy Advance companion piece, especially when it came to like a license thing. Excuse me, and that was year 1 of the GBA when it was new and everyone just wanted to get on that thing because development was probably cheap and it was a new hotness and everyone was probably buying it because of Pokemon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then there's always it's Batman. Someone might buy it because it's Batman. And then it's always a classic, like, well, grandma walks into an EB Games and sees Batman and like little Johnny or Jenny has a Game Boy. I'm going to buy them the Batman game because they like Batman.
I mean, that's true. I forget how much like Game Boy Advance was everywhere for people because I didn't have a Game Boy Advance and I didn't like handhelds as much during this time. I thought they were just inferior, so I wasn't paying any attention to them.
Well, there were things that, because it's interesting, because I just came into a position of Analog Pocket, and I'm going back and like looking for my old EGMs for Game Boy Color game reviews, and it's interesting to me how little coverage there is for that system, and I think it's because there was a Pocket magazine that was companion, so it was probably all there.
Yeah.
Because it was seen as a lesser than thing. Like, you would get the big reviews like the Marios, the Pokemons, Castlevanias, the Mega Mans, but then when it came to, like, say, the smaller versions of big console games, they wouldn't get a lot of coverage, so you had no idea what you were getting into.
But they're different games. Like, I've never played Vengeance yet, the console version, but this game, I mean, I know this, I've seen videos, this is a completely different game, but sometimes that's nice. Like, sometimes you just want a different little platformer.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm kind of in analog land now. I'm playing the Analog 3D and the Analog Pocket, and I mean, the Analog Pocket's such a wonderful little device, but it really makes you think about a lost era of games where people just had to develop by constraint. It's like this week, on top of playing these, I've been going back and playing things like Mega Man Extreme, and I got Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Color, and the developers just like, okay, we're going to make this thing that was cutting edge for Super Nintendo and make it even smaller, and somehow it works. And kind of the miracles they went through to make that happen, whereas now it's like games have the sky's the limit and the portable is a Steam Deck, so there isn't that market anymore. It's either the Switch or the Steam Deck, so there's no longer, say, here's Resident Evil Requiem, now here's the portable version that's like a weird side story like the Assassin's Creed DS games. It's just Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah, and I think that does. And I kind of miss some of this era, too. I mean, like, going back, like, this game had interested me because I knew it was a platformer, and I was like, I kind of want to try this. That's how this happened. I mean, we don't get that anymore, and I get it. I mean, I wouldn't mind having your little side games that are, just a different type of game with... I mean, this one, I think, is its own version of telling the Vengeance story, correct?
Yeah, we'll get into that because it's weird between these two games because in Vengeance, it was... Robin isn't in it at all. Like, you only play Batman and Batgirl's in the Batcave. She's kind of your Colonel Campbell over the radio.
Okay.
And Sin Tzu is basically a multiplayer 3D brawler where you can play as Batman, Batgirl, Robin, and Nightwing. Sin Tzu on Game Boy Advance, you only play as Batman, but in Vengeance, you can play as Batman and Robin, so it's kind of a Freaky Friday situation with these two projects.
No, that's a fair statement. I mean, I like the fact that with Vengeance, you get to play as Batman, and you have your Robin levels, and you have your Batmobile levels, which are just a top-down little isometric shooter, for lack of a better word, or shoot 'em up. I like them. I actually enjoyed this first Game Boy Advance game a decent amount. I mean, it was pretty simple. It didn't last too long. I mean, I think I beat it within a couple hours. I mean, the long play of it is like an hour, if that. So, I mean, it's what I wanted from my licensed Game Boy Advance game when I was trying to beat 100 games last year. Like, I wanted this something simple, quick, and it was decently fun. The levels don't overstay themselves either. It was a decent little game with enough variation. Like you were talking about the Robin levels, which are top-down isometric kind of puzzly levels. Those were fun too.
Yeah, one thing, because it's a hard thing to squeeze a PlayStation 2 era game into a Game Boy Advance title. So basically you have to think about the core of the game. And Batman Vengeance is a weird homunculus of genres, because it's an action platformer, but then at times it's also a fighting game, then it's also a first-person shooter, and then it's also a driving game, but with flying segments. So for this, it's basically, okay, well, it's Batman Vengeance, but we can't do a 3D game, but it still kind of has that variation because you have the Batman side-scrolling levels and Robins are overhead where you're pushing blocks around a la Tomb Raider and controlling an RC car to kind of activate switches. And then you have the Batmobile and Batwing levels, which I absolutely hated, but we'll get into that.
I mean, I had save states when I played all this. I mean, when it comes to the Batmobile levels, you're just driving forward and you have a time limit. They weren't too bad. There was the last one where I had to use save states because I kept messing up in the time limit. But other than that, I can get, I mean, they're very simple, but this game really took me back to playing a random Super Nintendo game. That's how this felt to me. And that was kind of nice for a change. It just really felt, maybe even a Nintendo game. It felt like a blast from the past. And I also have a weakness for games that do different types of gameplay in their game. Like, I like the fact that this had different segments. So I'm like, oh, that really, when it comes to old retro games, that will really grab my attention.
Yeah. I agree to an extent, but then when I think about Konami's Batman game on the Super Nintendo, which is almost
Fair.
a different experience every level, and the music is great, and the presentation is great, and the controls are great, and everything here is just very average. Like the music, I think I'm going to assume, didn't play with the music.
It's funny you say that. I think I tried. The music, I don't remember being too bad in this one. But no, I don't think I had sound on.
It's really repetitive, and it felt almost like a Nintendo game, or even worse. It definitely didn't feel of the era of the Game Boy Advance, which was at the time a revolutionary 32-bit handheld. And then the gadgets are kind of forgettable. It's very much like in Batman Vengeance, you can only use your grappling hook at certain points, and this is very much the same way. There's very little use for I think the most I ever used the smoke pellets or was in the poison ivy stages to kill the plants.
Oh, I don't think I even did that.
Yeah, because when you got too close to them, they would just sap your energy out, no pun intended. So I use the batarangs to kind of hit them from a distance, and when I ran out, I think you throw the smoke pellet and they die in one hit, but I had no reason to use them otherwise because the enemies kind of just fell into the same pattern of you can get up there and punch them, or if they have a rocket launcher, you just duck and kick them or jump over them and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind the repetitiveness in this game because this game didn't feel too long. I don't think I ever even used the smoke pellets. I only ever used the batarang in Vengeance. I didn't really mess with anything else. I mean, and the fact that this game is very, varied as in the levels look a little bit different. And you do have you have 3 different sections with 3 different boss fights. You have Joker at first, then you have Mr. Freeze, and then it's the Poison Ivy. It's also, I don't think I even realized there were other items. I just didn't care because I didn't need to use them, and I was fine with that. I also have never played Adventures of Batman and Robin for SNES or Genesis, so I don't have those to compare. I've been meaning to do an episode about that with you, Joe, and Ken for like years. I just haven't planned it yet. It's on my to-do list somewhere. It actually is. I have written down. Also to come back to one of your earlier points you made, like the fact that this game is based in the animated universe, that made me smile because I didn't know that. Yes, it's the second version of the animated universe I don't like, but I still was happy that it was more Batman from then.
Yeah, it has the style. Well, at least in the outside levels, because it kind of has like the red skyline. But then there's like a lot of interior levels where you're in like the Gotham chemicals and things like that. But it does a lot to live in that universe. And it's interesting because like it uses for the cutscenes, it's kind of like still images with text that are kind of taken from the game. But then like Nightwing is present in them, and there wasn't a 3D model for Nightwing in Vengeance or Robin, because neither of those characters are there at all, which is
okay. That's kind of
a bummer.
That they have him and then they don't even have, like, Robin makes sense because he's in this game, but that's weird. And I assume it's Tim Drake Robin, right, in the Batman animated series in this one?
Yes, as I don't think they introduced Jason Todd until I think they did a comic in the recent years that maybe touches on Jason Todd being in this universe, but I haven't read it yet. So yeah, they jumped straight from Dick Grayson to Tim Drake, although I think they incorporated some of the Jason Todd attitude into the characterization.
From what I remember. I just want to say, like, the Robin levels, which were the top-down ones, like, you move crates, and it really was a nice, varied on the gameplay, so you didn't get too tired of the beat-em-up stuff with Batman or beat-em-up's not the right, it's more of just a platformer, side-scroller. But, like, the fact that they had all these different levels, it kept the game exciting for me. Like, I was having a really good time with this game. I played it with save states, obviously, and I played it on my Steam Deck. But I was still having a very good time running through it. Like, I had no complaints.
I was until I got into the vehicles. I don't know what it is about the Batmobile being one of the coolest vehicles ever created, and in most video games, it's the most divisive or worst part in Batman titles, and here it's no exception. Because the Batmobile, they're kind of harmless top-down things, but the time limit is so precise. Like, if you don't hit, because there are obstacles on the road, and if you hit them, there's like no physics. You'll kind of just like bounce back, and there's like ramps to jump over and kind of like potholes and things. And if you don't do everything near perfect, you're not going to do these levels, and then you have to start over from the beginning. And the Batwing levels are basically like your R-Type or Gradius, where it's a side-scrolling shooter, but the Batwing takes up so much space on the screen that it's very hard to maneuver, I found. Especially there's a level leading up to Poison Ivy, where you just lose half your health in the opening start because it's so particular, and if like you hit something, you immediately crash and you have to go all the way back to the start. And I found that was infuriating at points.
Oh, that would be. See, I had save states, so I didn't have that problem because I didn't. But I can see how that would be really annoying because I also don't like shoot 'em ups in general. That is not a genre that I am a fan of ever. I have found out recently. So
I would agree. That. And the vehicle segments in Vengeance proper are very much the same. Like, well, they're a bit more forgiving, like the Batmobile, their chase sequences, but there's points where, like, you have to make these turns and you have to, like, hit a trigger to basically launch a line to kind of curve around to make turns on streets. And in the Batwing, it's kind of like a Star Fox perspective, but there's, like, signs and obstacles, and if you hit them, it's like, go back to the start, which is... It's kind of nearly the same what it is here. I find those a bit more, not as terrible, I guess, but they're still something where these could be done better as a way to kind of break things up.
No, that's fair. I mean, hey, for a Game Boy Advance game, I felt like they did pretty good. So, like,
Yeah.
but I get where you're coming. Yeah, I get 100. Had I not had save states, I probably would have been more annoyed. But the fact that I could cheat, it made it much more doable for me.
Yeah, as I started out playing this on a DS Lite, and then I got my analog pocket, so then I finished it off there. So I was basically playing this as if it was on the Game Boy Advance, only I could see what was on my screen.
No, that's fair. You went for more of the true experience versus what I go for the easier experience always with these games. So
Well, I have all these carts and devices around me, so
no, that's fair. I mean that's part of what your for your website and everything in your book. So I don't blame you one bit for being like, yeah, I want to own these games. Where I'm just like, no, I'm good. I just want to play them. I just want to experience them once, and then I will never touch them again in my life.
yeah, and I guess in my circumstance, like I bought them when they were relatively cheap, as opposed to now where they're probably prohibitively expensive. Well, I don't know how much Batman Vengeance on GBA is going for right now, but we'll see.
I would guess not high. I am looking up as we speak, but I mean, I can't see it being a big seller for people. Being like, oh, this is a collectible, $13 for it in a $10 buy it now, $10 delivery, so $20. This is just the cart. Oh, if you want a sealed version, $341.
Yeah, I see 114 for a box. I mean, I'm looking at Canadian prices; they're 24.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, so it's not that bad. I'm thinking more of like Marvel games recently have been skyrocketing, but we'll see.
That's because the Marvel brand is more known at this point because the MCU, even though I think to me the MCU is kind of done, but I know that it's not true, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I guess DC is just starting its momentum, so people don't have that nostalgia yet for...
No, it'll be coming.
We'll see. I hope. I really do hope. And then we have the whole Netflix thing happening, so who knows what the future brings.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's weird, but I'm still hopeful that, like, with James Gunn, that they'll let him make his movies. Because I really enjoyed the Superman movie a lot.
Oh, I agree. I have multiple Superman hoodies, and I have a Christmas ornament, and I'm looking at a Superpowers figure to my right. I'm all in on Peacemaker. I just bought the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow compact comic for myself and a friend, and I reread that, and
I need to read that.
I'm down to clown for all of this, and I'm been big on DC this past year and a bit.
I'm hopeful. I really am. Should I be? I don't know, but I am hopeful. I also don't think the Netflix thing will be too bad for them, hopefully. I mean, to be fair, Max is a streaming service, so that went away. I wouldn't be upset.
Well, we don't have Max in Canada. We just have Crave, which is really expensive. And even then, it's like, without getting too off topic, like Creature Commandos is on a service called Stack TV, while Peacemaker is on a service called Crave. And then Harley Quinn, the animated series, is broken up into several different services, and I think season 4 doesn't exist up here without a VPN, so...
That's weird.
I just like owning these things, and I know that won't be a priority for Netflix. Like, I want to own Creature Commandos and Peacemaker Season 2, but who knows? I mean, that's not happening now, but, I mean...
It might. I mean, hopefully they'll realize there's a market and sell things physically too for people, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
No, and I do want to talk about the 3 boss fights here, or 4. No, there's 4 boss fights in this game for Vengeance. Like, first you have the Joker fight, which is a pretty basic platformer fight. You're on a conveyor belt, he throws things at you, and then you have to throw batarangs in a certain slot to break the crates. I did like that. The Mr. Freeze fight, I don't remember what it was.
I got screwed up with that at first because you have to, like, I think he throws crates, or you have to hit crates with your batarang or something, and I didn't know, because if they fall, it basically makes a fire wave on the ground that basically kills you.
Yeah, you had to like catch the things he's throwing, I think, and then like throw it back up at him, but you don't want to miss his platform, otherwise it's going to just hurt you instead. I did that too, by the
I'm
way.
having trouble remembering Poison Ivy, and I finished this not long after Christmas, so that kind of shows.
I mean, I'm pulling it up right now, but it's a simple game. Like, I can't stress the word simple enough. I mean, not a bad thing. I'm pulling up the Poison Ivy fight right now, but this is a simple game. And sometimes I think that's what I needed though, this was for part of my finish 100 games. So the Poison Ivy fight, she has a plant. You have to hit it with batarangs in the eye, and then eventually they'll drop. And it's kind of like the Joker fight, but now there's a few more obstacles and a few different obstacles in your way.
Oh, yeah, now I remember.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I did save state, so all these fights were not too bad, but it wasn't.
The Harley one was a little tricky because you had to like wait for her to like drop the hammer, and she takes up a lot of damage if she manages to hit you. I remember that one being a little bit tricky.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Once you realize I wasn't too bad, but yeah, it did. It took me a second to figure out what the hell the game wanted me to do.
And had a little bit of Arlene Sorkin voice clip in there too, which is appreciated. Just taken from the console game.
That is cool. And then you fight Joker in the end. You have to chase him down. You have like two levels. One where you chase him down on a different platform where you hit him and then he runs away and you have to get to the next section. Or you hit him a couple times. And then you have the last level, which is them hunting him down in the blimp. So you get to do one of Blair's favorite levels.
It was kind of merciless. It was basically just like hit the fire button as quickly as you can. So, yeah. Did you toy around with the advanced mode at all?
No, I beat story mode. I turned off the game and deleted it from my Steam Deck.
I couldn't remember what it was. I did the first level. It's basically they add time limits. Well, at least in level 1, they add a time limit, and then you have to like find 3 CDs before you meet the exit. So I guess it just gives you an incentive to go through again. It's more or less a hard mode. I don't know what it's like for the rest of the levels, as I kind of moved on because I just wanted to talk about this and also play other things.
No, I don't blame you. I was in the same boat. I was like, I gotta beat 100 games. I gotta get moving.
And the password system is kind of neat because it's basically character names or tool names like Gordon and Batgirl and Batarang and things like that, so you won't forget them.
Yeah, nice and simple. I say that word a lot with this game, apparently. Should we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
Or it's been a while.
I'll go first. I'm going to put this on the shelf, Ashley. I really had a good time with this game. I would recommend this to people. Like, hey, you want to play a quick little Batman game on Game Boy Advance? Here's a good one. I was surprised. I was really surprised how much fun I had. So it's going on the shelf. What about you, Blair?
I think I would put it in the stack. I know there isn't a lot of DC games on the Game Boy Advance. And the Game Boy Color, for that matter. I'm actually pulling up my folder right now. Even Batman games. There's basically Batman.
There's 3.
Vengeance, Batman Begins, which is not very great. The Catwoman game, some forgettable Justice League games, and Teen Titans. So this is probably of the better of them, but it's still just kind of a recommendable 6 out of 10.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It just, for some reason, this game really just kind of hit for me, and I can't explain it, but I really liked it. But no, I mean, that's a fair statement. All right. And then after the break, you will hear our other Batman game. And we're back. Now we're going to talk about Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, developed by Ubisoft Montreal, published by Ubisoft, and came out in 2003. We're talking about the Game Boy Advance version only. All that I played, and so memories. I heard of this game before, never knew it existed, never knew really. I mean, okay, I knew it existed. I didn't know what it was. Other than that, I had no real history with this game. What about you, Blair?
I wasn't really following it, and then I was buying EGM at the time, and I think they had a review. It kind of scored in the 6.5s, and it was that fall of Ubisoft where it was like this and Beyond Good and Evil and Prince of Persia, and I don't think any of them hit the way they wanted to and dropped price really fast. So this is the console version, mind you, because I remember the console version came out September or October, and by November it was $29. So I bought it for my brother for Christmas, and I have a lot of fond memories for the console game because that holiday we basically started and finished it. He played Batman, I played Nightwing. The Game Boy Advance version, I bought it in 2018 at a store in Ontario called A&C Games. I have like the box and it's in a really nice plastic case. I don't think it was overly expensive, and I never played it till 2 years ago, and I never really wanted to play it after that until you brought it up, and we're gonna get into why.
Oh, I after playing Vengeance, I was riding a little high. I'm like, okay, this was fun. I'm like, I want to play the other Batman game because since he was kind of based on the Batman animated series, also, right? Like same art style. It felt like it was part of that too.
Oh, it very much is. It has all the voice actors. I think Robin is the only one in the console game because I'm pretty sure the voice actor had aged out. So I believe it's the actor who does Robin in Teen Titans. But other than that, you have Tara Strong and Kevin Conroy, Lauren Lester, Jeffrey Combs.
Maybe I need to play that PS2 game at some point.
I don't know how to pronounce their name, and they just recently passed, and it really makes me sad. It's Carrie. Okay. No disrespect to their memory world, but he played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat, and I loved him in that movie as Shang.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce the name.
He is the voice of Sin Tzu, who is created by Jim Lee for this game. I guess they wanted to take it off in the same way that like a Harley Quinn did, but
yeah, how'd that work out?
I don't think they really did anything with this. They made a tie-in companion novel, which I have 2 copies of actually. But yeah, and the console game is like a 3D brawler. This is basically the same thing as Vengeance, only bloated and worse.
I mean, so you had texted me and said this game is a slog, and I'm like, how bad can this be? Like, you know, 'cause I was riding high off Vengeance for me. Like, I had fun, it was quick, and I needed some more quick games to knock out my 100 game. And I'm like, all right, you know, so I'm gonna play this next. And even though How Long to Beat said 5 hours, I'm like, oh, that can't be accurate. And oh, it was. This game is you were so right, a fucking slog. So it's only a side-scroller beat-em-up type game platformer, but the enemies take way too many hits, and there's an insane amount of enemies in this game, and it is just infuriating. It is annoying, like, and the levels go on way too long. I mean, it's broken up into 9 missions, I think it is, or maybe 12 missions, but the missions are so fucking long. At least there's a checkpoint. Every time you cross into another loading area, it checkpoints, so you can kill yourself if you need to and get your HP back and keep going, which is what I would do sometimes.
Yeah,
but, it's...
and this is, again, going back to the discussion we had with the Vengeance, where and part of me even playing this was, well, if the game was a 3D brawler, why not make this like a Final Fight style, like X-Men Reign of Apocalypse thing? But I guess then you have to draw sprites for other characters, possibly add multiplayer. Maybe that was just out of the scope for the budget for this. So it's basically just a fancier version of Vengeance in a way, because in Sin Tzu, you have combos, and they'll be like, say, punch, 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 or punch, punch, wait, then punch, or punch, punch, hold punch for these like turbo combos or whatever. And this tries to do that, and the animation looks nice for Batman when you manage to time it correctly. But the thing about the enemies is that, like, they also have a long... Like, you punch them, and then they fall down, and then they have this, like, kind of stand-up animation, and everything just takes so long, and you kind of just want to glide over them if you can, or pick them up and throw them off like anything.
I did that a lot when I could. It's awful, and it shouldn't be... I did not expect this game to be as annoying as it was. And not to mention, at times, they'll hide key cards on enemies that you need to progress through a level, so you need to kill the enemies, or they'll have you have to hit a switch or do something, so you have to kill all the enemies, otherwise you're not going to be able to pull it off, because you also take a decent amount of damage in this game, too, if they hit you. It was just, like, at first, I think I was okay with it, but then this game it never ended, and I was getting so annoyed with it.
It makes a good first impression with the animation system, but then when you realize that's all it is, like, it breaks it. The most So when we talked about Vengeance, we talked about how there was Robin missions and they were overhead, and there was puzzles, and then there was driving and shooting. Like the most this does is you'll have to flip a switch and then get to a door before a timer goes off, or there's like platforming levels where there's like goop rising from the bottom, or you have to
that
make
was
these tiny
awful.
jumps, and when you die, it's like go back to obnoxious checkpoints, and the platforming is okay, but it's also like Vengeance where like you have gadgets, but they're even more useless.
Yep.
And like the grapnel again only works at certain points that the game dictates to you. So that's kind of another thing. The bosses are cool.
I mean, yeah, that was like the one good thing about this game, and the only variation were the boss fight, because the fighting never changes. You don't get more moves. I mean, I guess I'm watching a long play, and he's kind of using like a better combo system than I was doing, where he's taking them out quicker. But like, this is also the first level, so maybe I'm just remembering things wrong, because when he gets farther in the game, the enemies have more health, because of course they do. And yeah, I just...
Yeah, because in Vengeance you can buy new combos, and
you
unlock more. Or sorry, in Rise of Sinzu on consoles, you can buy more combos, and you get more as the game progresses. And in this, the most you get is like you build up a meter by fighting, and then you can charge the button and kind of break into a combo that does a lot of damage, and I think you get more advanced ones of those as you beat the bosses.
Oh, I never even figured out how to use that. I mean, I would see the combo meter pop up, but I didn't do anything special. I didn't understand it.
You just have to hold the attack button, I believe. I have the manual here.
Maybe I didn't do that then.
Yeah.
My version didn't come with a manual.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly have carts, but this one is like, I was at a store and I was like, oh, you have the box of Batman Rise of Sinzu, and they were just like, you're the only one who's ever walked in here probably and got excited about that.
Didn't charge you a whole lot for it.
Yeah, hold down the B button when the combo meter is full, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, I never held it down. That's why. Okay, that would have made this game a little bit more fun. Only it would have went a little faster. That would have been
a little bit, but not much.
I mean, you have unlimited batarangs. When it comes to like the bat claw or the grapnel, you only can use it in certain spots, but the game doesn't tell you unless you have it selected. You have to have it selected, and then it will blink to let you know that you can use it here. So that, I mean, there were a couple times I'm like, what the hell to do? And I'm like, I'll switch to my bat claw, because I'm sure there's somewhere there'll be a spot for it. And there would be. And then you also get like flash pellets. I used a little bit, but you get very few of them. I don't know. They don't even really mix up the enemies, other than the enemies are different sprites with a lot more health. They don't really change their tactics. Like, it's very much the same game all the way through.
Yeah, which is different from the console version, because in the first level, there's 4 bosses, so there's Scarecrow, Clayface, Bane, and then Sinzu. So in the console game, you're basically in the streets of Gotham, and you're fighting like normal goons, but then they'll throw like pumpkin bombs with fear gas, and then they'll kind of turn into like weird skeleton enemies. And then Clayface's minions are like kind of clay monsters, and then Bane's army is very much themed after him, and Sinzu is like ninjas, but they're weirdly voiced by Will Friedle doing like bad Asian stereotypes, which are weird because it's Terry McGinnis doing this, but it was 2003, so
different time. Yeah. I mean, that would have made the game more like, I do want to play that version someday now, that's for sure. I never want to play this version again, or will I? So then you find, when you, like the Scarecrow fight, for example, let me see if I can find it. I remember having a hard time with this fight, and that's when I was kind of really like, oh no, this game is not going to be fun. Because I don't remember what you had. Yeah, you had to hit his ghost or little thing he summons with batarangs, and then after you do that, he'd be weak. You could punch him a few times, but
yeah, you had to throw the flash pellets, I believe.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you're right, flash pellets, and you have to knock out the ghost, and then they'll drop it for you. The amount of hits, like, you know, and a lot of times in old games, you have to do like 3 or 4 hits to take out a boss type. When they have these type of phases, we have to go through a whole phase to do it. This game likes to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, did 4, but they just felt so fucking long. Okay, it's 5. So long and annoying, and I was just like, no, it's 4. I just did not want. I'm like, this is, and I had to use save states a lot, or I wouldn't have got through this because I had a hard time with like the Scarecrow boss fight especially.
Yeah, I did a refresher just by watching the long play. Even the long play is 3 hours. And I remember playing this, I think for the first time in like early 2024 or 2023. I could not beat the last boss. It was so hard because Shinzu kind of throws these energy balls and they're very hard to destroy, and you have to go through 3 or 4 rooms before you get to like the final one, which is in the console game where the battle takes place, kind of like in an arena. And I got stuck on that one. I think I may have got stuck at the Clayface one, but I thought that was clever. Like you had to kind of have to like hit the lever to get the hook to go by to kind of knock him into like the sign or the electricity.
Yeah, once I understood the Clayface one, because I looked online, I could not understand what to do. I like the Clayface one. Scarecrow is just too long and there's too many phases. We'll get on Sin near the end. Clayface wasn't bad.
And poor Bane, because Bane was introduced as this in the comics as this. Yeah, he has the venom, which makes him a physical threat to Batman, but he's also a tactical genius. And in most games, it's the Rhino from Spider-Man, where just make him run into a wall and then stun him and then hit him when he's stunned.
I mean, they did do the Batcave, which I was a little surprised. I didn't expect that to be in this game.
Yeah, that's in the console game because you basically divert a tanker ship because it's supposed to have a weapon of mass destruction in it.
And
it turns out to be Bane.
That's a 2003, all right, then, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, start hearing that term being thrown around in anything, so... No, the Bane fight, yeah, it was it's a normal, simple Bane, you know, like you were right. You have him run into something, and then you have to drop a box on his head. It was okay. I mean, the last part of it, the timing felt very precise. So, also enemies block in this game, too, which is really annoying.
Yeah, that's where the charge combo comes in, because that breaks it, I believe.
It does. I'm watching a playthrough right now, and he's doing that all the time. He's beating this game a lot faster than I did, and he knows what he's doing, because I got stuck sometimes in these levels trying to figure out where to go, because it's a style from the SNES that I don't like. The like platformer maze type levels where you had to go find a certain lever, then find the door, and I was like, I never liked them back in the day. I never played those type of games. I still don't like them, I found out.
Yeah, I know Ubisoft later on, because they did a Phantom Menace game for the DS, which I remember giving like 4 out of 10 in EGM, but people kind of swear, not Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, where it's basically like a brawler, and I think it's by like the proto Scott Pilgrim people. And I know the TMNT game from 2007 on GBA is also like that. So I guess this was before kind of that era. But I just almost wish they just would have went with something in that vein as opposed to just another side-scrolling action game. But I guess there was maybe just a lot of engine reuse and just buffing up the graphics a little bit.
And then after you beat Bane, you have the whole stuff leading up to leading up to Sin, and I could not wait for it to end. Like at this point, I was just done with this stupid game. I beat this game in a day, by the way, but it was a long day. It felt.
I played it was like before work in the morning and on my breaks, and that's about as much as I could stomach. Like 15
I played through it all
here and there.
Non-stop for one day in between.
Well, that'll definitely color your opinion, but...
It might. I don't think it would have made a difference, to be honest, but yes, it is fair.
Even when I played it broken up, it felt like it was... You would get to the end of the level and be like, okay, is the boss now? And then it would just... Okay, here's more docks, jump on some more things, fight some more guys.
It's 10 missions, not 12. But the last level is just Sin, and they could have made this a okay boss fight, but because for some reason they decided we're going to give him 3 life bars. So you're going to have to go through him 3 different times, and 2 of them are the same, of just stupid dodging those fireballs, and then beating him up when he starts doing his charge move, but you have to run away sometime before he's done, before you're done hitting him, because he'll knock you off and you really can't take any damage in this fight, or you're going to be in trouble come the end version. Because even though it's 3 rounds, the first you have the first round. After you beat the first round, they give you a health pickup so you can get some health. But then there are no more health pickups. You don't get any for the last round. And I was like, what? I failed this the first time, even with save states, because I just couldn't do it. I got to the final round. I'm like, I don't have enough HP to tank any hits if I have to. So I had to start over, and then I was able to do it. But man, it is so frustrating and so bloated for no reason. Awful game design.
Yeah, and I have to wonder. Lately I've kind of looked back on Ubisoft's license output. It seems that they buy these licenses, and other than King Kong, they're either okay or mediocre, but there's no real passion behind them. I guess people like the Avatar game they did. I know Star Wars Outlaws may have been unfairly derived. I heard the Switch 2 version is good, but I think like a lot of people, they're just burnt out on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because they had the Batman license from like late 99-ish to 2003, and none of their output was particularly great. I would say Vengeance is kind of the highlight because that's where it was a multi-genre game, but it's very short and also kind of frustrating. And by the end with Sinzu, it's just a brawler in 2003, which was a tough sell when we're in a post-GTA 3 and Vice City world.
I mean, you did have the Turtles beat 'em ups in around that time too, from the 2003 show. You had 3 of them, but yeah, I mean, beat 'em ups are not exactly a genre that was flying off the shelves in 2003. So
yeah, but I think also at that time it was like Batman, the animated series would have been off the air, Justice League would have been on, and that would have been at the start of the 2003 Turtle show. And then it's also from Konami, who kind of has history with the Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So that's some of a marketing push. But even those, I don't know if people, maybe if you were a kid around the time when they came out, they would have been something that you really loved. I think I tried to play one of them. I just got really bored.
Yeah, beat 'em ups were not in love at this time. Like, it took a while before they came back. Like, now we have the research and something, but like during 2003, we did not. The audience wasn't there for that type of game. We wanted other stuff. Like you said, GTA,
yeah, it was just,
didn't want this.
And oversaturated on the Super Nintendo. There were just so many.
Oh God, yes.
Final Fight and Streets of Rage alikes, and then licensed games in that vein. And then with the 3D advents, it definitely went out of style. There was a few like the Die Hard Arcade and Fighting Force, but they were... And the Batman Beyond game, which I played over Christmas.
I do want to play that still. I will have to at some point, but if
don't
I play
it on
It,
PlayStation,
so.
the N64 game you can honestly finish in 40 minutes or less. In the time it takes you to get like a Domino's pizza.
Are they 2 different games, or are they the same type of game?
They're the same game, but it's almost like the PlayStation 1 was the blueprint of what not to do, and the N64 version is, we fixed that. Here's a game that's not great, but still playable.
Okay. I might.
And then there's a Game Boy Color version, which I also played, which is more aligned to the N64 version, but it also overstays its welcome.
Okay. Yeah, the Sin game overstayed its welcome, all right. An hour for the Return to Joker Game Boy Color game. Huh.
Yeah, that's about it. I finished it. It's about there. Yeah.
I might be hitting you up in a month or two to talk about this, by the way, so just to let you know.
Yeah, I'm down to clown.
All right, let's go to box for Rise of Sin. So I'm going to put this in the box because fuck this game. And I was so done with this game that I wanted nothing to do with it. Yeah, I hated it. It was too bloated. It's hard in stupid ways. It's a bad game for Game Boy Advance. I don't know. I can't speak the other version, but the Game Boy Advance game is garbage. So go it in the box. And what about you?
I would agree, and I actually have the box. It came in. Yeah, I mean, the console version, I have a soft spot for it, and I know so does someone who worked on Gotham Knights because there's Sinzu Easter eggs in there if you look. But this version, it's just... I was a little bit excited to play it because I think I played Vengeance because I kind of had a mind to maybe do another book, but then I put that aside. I played Vengeance and then I was expecting more of that, and I kind of got that, only way more frustrating. And yeah, I finished it and then I never really wanted to hit it up again until you brought it up as basically just ripping the Band-Aid off for this episode.
I'm glad you didn't actually replay it though for me because I would have felt bad. Vengeance, I was like that was a decent little game. This game, I would have felt bad.
I replayed some of it just because I got a new toy in my see-through orange analog pocket, but I beat Scarecrow and then I was like, I have to tap out because my spare time is so little and I want to do this episode, but like I'll just watch the video.
That's all I wanted you to do. I did not want you to suffer through this nightmare of a game. Like it was bad. And it didn't have to be. Like that's the part that gets me. Like this didn't have to be that bad of a game, but it is. And
I just think they had checked out by that point. They probably had one game left in their contract because after this year there was no more Batman games from Ubisoft, so this is probably a contractual obligation one, maybe. I can't, I'm speaking out of turn. I have no idea. Because they did give it that push with like the Jim Lee villain, and there's some interesting behind the scenes stuff in the console game. It's kind of cool. And then they did the novel to kind of flesh out the background of the game, but the game is just move around, punch people, move forward, punch more people. So it's a weird push for a multimedia endeavor.
And there was a comic too for Rise of Sin Tzu when
and then Mattel was putting out animated. There was like a collector's edition because I remember I had the one for PlayStation 2 that came with like a Nightwing figure.
Oh, and Sin Tzu is in 52. That's when he made his first appearance.
Interesting.
In the actual comics run, but okay. I never read it, and I read a bunch of the New 52 stuff, so I don't know when he showed up, but yeah, apparently he's in there somewhere. All right, yeah, that's enough of that. And Blair, where will find you at?
You can read my work as infrequent as it is lately on comicbookvideogames.com. You can find me streaming at twitch.tv/BlairArcade. I know a few years ago I did stream in full Batman Rise of Sin Tzu for a rival podcast, Play Comics. You can probably find that somewhere. Social media, I'm most active on Blue Sky at BlairArcade, the same as my Twitch channel. I always stumble when I'm closing down streams. You can read The Web of Spider-Man Games as a digital-only book on Amazon Kindle. The Avengers and Video Games is available multiple places as a digital book or a physical book.
And if you enjoyed this episode, over 900 other episodes of this podcast, we do TV shows, video games, comics, I already said that. We do lots of different content. Go check out all our stuff that we do on Podbean. You can find our entire catalog. You can also search in the catalog. You never know. We might have covered a random movie or game that you're thinking about because we do random shit on this podcast. So if you want to hear the rest of our Batman stuff, all the Batman episodes will be in the show notes. So check that large catalog out. If you want to support the show, do it. Patreon, little dog vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. And if you donate $10 or more, I will plug your podcast, YouTube, your whatever it is that you want me to for every episode I make that month. I make a shit ton. You can just tell by how much stuff gets published every month. So, and these lovely people, Phoebe Stanton, the Let's Play Princess on YouTube and Twitch, and also check her out. She has her own podcast, Nerds of Broadcast, and check out Zach's podcast, absolutely the best podcast of work in progress. They talk about MCU movies, MCU adjacent movies, and they are currently on the Predator Alien franchise. So check them out. And check out Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. Also, he started his new podcast, Carrying My Cross. It's a religious podcast, which, hey, if you're interested, go check it out. He's a great guy. And give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, who's Helena at Hell Hastry. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And please follow us. Oh, join our Discord. If you want to be on the show, you want to suggest things for the show, join the Discord. It's free. We're always happy to have people join us and talk with us. You'll see a link in the show notes. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, and rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Now, Joe, if you'll just give me your favorite cheesesteak to go, I'll be on my way.